So let's go back, man. Paul, what got you started into this? What's your origin story here?
So I started off as an actor, as we all do, but this is like back in high school and early college. And what I found out is a great stage presence, wonderful voice. I love to talk. Horrible about memorizing lines. So I am not the actor you want to be on stage with. And so what happened was in undergrad, my second year of undergrad, I was told by the head of directing, I'll never be on a show because I'm just horrible to be on stage with. I can do a one-man show, no problem, but the being with other people. And so she's like, I'll never cast you again. So get out of theater. And I'm a stubborn guy, as evident by all I do here. So I was like, no. And so I was working in the scene shop at the time, and I had the chair of the department came down, and he was talking to me about this, and he knew of the situation. And he's like, how about this? How would you like to learn everything? And I'm a sponge, man. I'll take anything,
Yeah,
any
I'll
opportunity to
take it.
learn. And so he showed me everything from janitorial to box office to directing and management to design. And when I hit design, I fell in love with it. It was like every bit of acting, because acting you get into because you want to be someone else and you want to perform somebody else's life. As a designer, you get to build worlds. And I was a nerdy kid, obviously. I was a nerdy kid. I fell into books. I love going off into a la la land in the stories. And so the opportunity to take, a story of someone and then create the world around it really resonated with me. And I was pretty good at it. Ended up going through grad school, won some national and international awards for it. And it was really, really good. I finished grad school as a scenic design, properties, and costume designer. So all three of those. And I went to University of California, San Diego over in La Jolla. And it's connected to a Lort B theater. If you don't know what Lort B means, it's a theater large enough that they basically is a staging ground for Broadway. It's the step before Broadway. So it's a big theater, and it's part of the campus. And so as a designer, you get the opportunity to assist. And then if you're good, they'll let you design a couple shows there. And so I had the opportunity to design, but I was assisting a guy named John Arnone. And at the time he had 4 or 6 shows on Broadway. Like this guy was like apex, like this is where you're trying to get to as a scenic designer in the United States. And so I was assisting him on a show, and I was like, so John, what's it like, being the best? And to this day, I praise this man. And this is why I tell this story, because he looked me dead in the face and he goes, it sucks.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, explain. And he goes, I'm on the road 48 weeks out of the year. I pay for an apartment in New York that my boyfriend lives in. I've got 6 assistants who just do paperwork all the time because I've got to constantly keep doing this because I'm paid between $1,500 and $5,000 a job. He goes, if you want to settle down, if you want an actual stable life, this is not the place to be. And I love honesty above all else.
Honesty, yeah.
And I've had a few really good, honest people in my life that have kind of helped reroute it. And I've tried to have real jobs. It just doesn't fit for me. That's just not who I am. And so I was like, okay, I love this entrepreneurism of being a designer. You're freelance, you're doing all that. But I'm like, what else could I do? At the same time, I got that information. I was working on a show with a guy named Doug Wright. He was the playwright, and he was working on a little play called I Am My Own Wife. Show's irrelevant. It's Pulitzer Prize winner. Big deal. But this was the workshop of it, and I created the set for it. But as a set designer, we build like little tiny versions of the set called a scale model. And for the design that I had, there was like 100 pieces of furniture. And back then, that's drawing out on a piece of paper, hand cutting it, putting it all together.
Wow.
And I was putting together probably the 100th piece. And I goes, there's got to be a better way of doing this. And I'm one of those guys who lives to kind of go to stores and just kind of look around, see what's new, what's happening. And I was looking at the greeting cards, and I saw one had little burnt edges. And I'm like, somebody has figured out how to laser cut paper. And this is before everyone had one in the basement. Okay. This is back in the late 90s. Okay. So I actually called Hallmark, and through relentless calling, I actually found the manufacturer of their cards, and it was a warehouse sized laser machine. It was crazy.
Wow.
And it could do a page about every 4 seconds. So I developed a product called Pop Out Furniture, which was scale model furniture that was laser die cut. So you could paint it all flat, then you cut it out and fold it like origami to make these pieces of furniture. And so so that was my first invention. That came right out of grad school. And I went from being a $19,000 a year grad student to a $250,000 a year entrepreneur doing the trade show circuit. And that was really great, except that I was there, and I think my 3rd trade show, one of the booths that was next to me was selling lasers. And I'm like, well, there's the writing on the wall, like literally right next to me. It's being burned into it. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I got to thinking, I'm like, all right, what's next? And this is before 3D printers. Now, and I've got a shop full of 3D printers now. If I was to do this again, everything would be 3D printed furniture as opposed to laser die cut. So I saw the writing on the wall, and at that time I was living in LA with my wife. We were doing the movie thing. She's a costume designer. So we were doing the movie, TV, theater route out there. And she came to me one day and she's like, I took a summer stock job out in Iowa. And I'm like, okay, cool. She goes, I'm not coming back. I hate it here. So we can stay married and you can follow me, or you can stay here. We can get divorced.
The ultimatum, right?
Yeah, right. And I'm like, well, I like you, and I can give or take this place. So we ended up moving back to Nebraska. This is where I'm at now, because what I do for a living, I could be anywhere. If I'm freelance,
Right.
you can fly me out wherever. And so I came here, and then within that first year, we're just kind of sloshing by. I'm seeing Pop Out Furniture go down. I'm trying to do the freelance design thing, but again, that doesn't pay very well, especially in a place like Nebraska. I'm in Omaha, which is it's a city, but it's still $1,500 a job is not going to pay your mortgage. And so my alma mater, where the guy taught me everything, was like, we just lost our scenic design professor. We're offering you the job. No application or nothing. Do you want to just step in?
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? I like this. So I went there, and I was there for 3 years and loved teaching. Loved it. Hated the bureaucracy of a university. Holy cow. I was putting in, because theater is, I don't know if you do theater, but man, theater is like, it's a till midnight kind of gig. And when you've got a show in tech, you're there 6 days a week till midnight. And I would get to work at 5 a.m., stay till midnight every single day, and I'm busting my ass. And every review that I had for the 3 years I was there was, if you could just do a little bit more, it would reflect better on you. I'm like, I ain't got time for more. But in my last year there, I had a student ask me, this is when the Nintendo Wii came out, and they had the little avatars of you. Oh yeah. Yeah. So this is back 2005, 2006. And so he asked me, hey, can you make a me of me and my girlfriend? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? I was a sculptor. And I was like, yeah, sure. Let's do that. And so I made that. And what I didn't know was that he took pictures of it and uploaded it to a blog called Super Punch. And this is before everyone had Instagram. There was no Facebook, none of that stuff. And it blew up. It went viral. And I started getting calls from people all around the world. Can you make mine? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Might as well. I was selling it for $50 a piece. And then I was making about 25 a week and still doing my full-time job. So after a while, I was making more money doing that on the side than I was teaching, and I liked it more. And so I asked my wife, I said, hey, can I try this? Can I quit and then actually try this? And she's like, I'll give you 1 year. I'm like, all right, fair enough. And then I make her sound like a hard ass, but she's actually a lovely lady.
It's very supportive, by the way. Let's get that
very supportive. Yeah. So within 3 months, I hit my second viral object and made $50,000 that month. And then she's like, okay, I think you've got this. Wow. And that was 20 years ago.
You proved it.
And so since then, yeah. And then from there, it's just there's a key that a key statement that I love to use that I tell people. It's called bend, don't break. If I would have stood rigid with Pop Out Furniture, I would have lost everything. If I would have stayed rigid and stayed at the university, my back would have gone out and I would have been miserable. Instead, what I do is I kind of see where the world's taking me. I bend and just kind of go with the flow, which seems chaotic, but if you do it long enough, my wife says it's kind of like a superpower. She goes, I do not understand it, but at this point, I just ride along with you because it's crazy the opportunities that you get because you're not rigid. You just kind of go with it. And that's really where I've gotten. That's the origin story.